Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Fifth Road Tarot. Welcome back to Fifth Road Tarot. I am here to give you your reading for the week of March 16th. Remember, this reading can apply to any time frame whenever you see it. Whenever you see it, it doesn't really have to apply to the time frame. It is whenever you see it that it could hold some sway. So, with that being said, this reading is all about this tarot reading is all about free will. So it may or may not resonate, and it does not have to, and you don't have to believe in it. This is just a way of possibly viewing an event that you might be experiencing now or may experience in the future, and it's a new perspective on that event. I actually see it as a way of storytelling. If you remember Aesop's fables, or if you read them as a child, you might remember that Aesop, at the end of every fable had some sort of a lesson, a life lesson. And that's kind of how I view tarot. Maybe some guidance for you, maybe some direction for you in the form of a story. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start shuffling. And I'm going to ask Spirit, the universal spirit that connects us all, connects us to all living things, connects us all to each other, to come in and speak through the cards, through myself as a vessel, a channel, to bring messages to the collective. This is a collective reading. This is not a specific reading. It's not meant to be a specific reading, but I'm asking Spirit to come in to provide guidance to the collective. Thank you so much, Spirit. I call on the four elements. The element of fire, the element of earth, the element of water, and the element of air. Thank you so much, Spirit. I call on my enlightened ancestors and my divine and enlightened masters and teachers to also come forth in this reading and provide guidance to the collective. Thank you so much, Spirit. Okay, let's get started. Spirit, can you please provide 3 cards for us for this collective reading? Spirit, can you please provide 3 cards for this collective reading? Thank you, Spirit. Spirit, there we go. I'm going to continue through. Spirit, do you have any other messages for us in this reading? Okay, no further messages. I'm going to put that to the side. So the first up, we have the Emperor. Next up, we have the Hermit. And last, we have the Ten of Wands. I would like to say that overall, I believe this is a summary. It's almost like we're looking at the end of a story here, or the summary of a story is what I should say, of everything that we have gone through in the past maybe 5 or 6 months. The Yes, this is a summary of what we've gone through, and honestly, maybe even the last 10 months, which is interesting. Hmm. So I'm going to try and set these up so that you can see them. The Emperor here. Oops. All right, let's get this going. The Hermit, and we'll put the Ten of Wands. So let's start with the Emperor. Now we've got two major arcana cards here, which means this is our overall theme. And it's interesting that the Ten of Wands is the summary of this theme because the Ten of Wands came up in a recent reading. I don't know if it was last week or the week before. Can you see all those? Yes. Okay, so the Emperor is, I'm seeing this as the divine masculine, the masculine that is within us all. This masculine is, if you look in the background, it looks like he's kind of on a beach just before we get to mountains because you can see a little bit of a river back there. But he's sitting on his throne, and if we think about an empire, because there's the emperor is really someone who is in charge of an empire, which is he is the king of all kingdoms, right? But the emperor is someone who rules. Um, the emperor is someone who rules an entire empire, not just one kingdom. So this is something that has probably been a part of you that has probably been relied upon more than you ever thought you would have to rely on, because the emperor, of course, is someone who takes action, not someone who has time to really sit back and, this is definitely someone who's more about action. And I know that there are some ways that an emperor could be nurturing, but at the same time, when we think about someone who rules an empire, the emperor relies on his kings to be more nurturing than he can be, because it's an empire that he's ruling over, not like one kingdom where he can probably be a little bit closer to his subjects. He relies on his kings. So the kings in this hierarchical view, and in relation to ourselves, um, this king has relied upon kings and maybe has found a failure or disappointment, because we see a completion here. We see a completion or the end of a cycle. The emperor is moving into this hermit energy, which is a very big deal. The hermit is someone who has absolutely no problems taking a break, taking a step back or a step inwards, to go further inside, to look at what is it that I have done as a leader, as someone who has taken charge of, and when we talk about, when we relate this to ourselves, think about what thing have you been in charge of, be it in your personal life, your physical health, your work. What thing have you been in charge of that has come to a point of needing to be really looked at very deeply? What part have you not considered of yourself while you were in the role of emperor. And that is what the hermit asks us. That is what the hermit energy is bringing, is that inner reflection. He is shining the light on the leader inside of us and asking us, if we were to have to go through this again, what would we do differently? If we would have to go through this again, what could we change? What light can we bring forth? What action can we bring forth in this next iteration? What can we do to move forward in a situation? And that is where we come to our Ten of Wands. The Ten of Wands is someone who has been, if we look at our Ten of Wands, the man is moving from bare ground, dirt, possibly even a place that could not, where he could not plant the wands. And it looks like he's moving forward to lush lands, trees, in order to plant these wands. This, I believe, is a deeper dive of looking at ourselves, looking at where we are, a deeper dive into viewing what our empires look like first off, right? And then how can we truly bring our emperor energy to good light and then move it so that we plant. Again, this, to me, this is about moving to plant where you are nurtured. You are taking your burdens, you are taking all your actions, all your insight, all your passion, and you are moving to somewhere where you are nurtured and fertile and your empire grows. This is what I see in this reading. But it looks like here, even though this 10 of Wands is a minor arcana, this is where the energy is pushing behind this 10 of Wands. The energy of our interior, what's the word? The energy of how we our introspection, that's the word. How we look into ourselves, how we look into our own actions, how we claim our personal emperor, our own empires. How do we claim it? And not only how do we claim it, but how do we become better leaders of those empires? And if it need be, what looks like is happening is that you are moving away from the old way. This is key. You are moving away from the old way of how you used to rule your empire. You are moving away from the old way of how you used to do things. You are moving away from routine. You are moving away from the day to day. You are moving away from those things, and you are moving. You are going in, and you are going toward your abundance. You are going toward where you are fertile, where you can plant all your actions, these new actions that you've come up with, because these are all brand new ones. They're all sprouting new things, new directions, new growth. This is you moving forward after having a period of introspection. And to me, this is indicative of coming out of winter and into spring. It's going to look a lot different than it used to in the past. It's necessary that you do this. I know I don't normally push that in my readings, but it is necessary that you do that now, because spring is coming and you need to be on the fertile side of things. You need to be on the nurturing side of things. You need to be in the place where all your actions, regardless of the outcome, that's the other thing, is regardless of the outcome here, we need to be in fertile land. We need to be in a place of growth internally in our lives. This is acceptance. This is acceptance here. The hermit is shining the light on the emperor and is accepting and moving forward. And sometimes I've experienced the same thing myself of coming to the conclusion that a thing is not where I'm supposed to be, right? A thing that I was so convinced, right? That was so much the thing that I wanted to do, the thing that I needed to do, which is probably why I changed. I've changed careers quite a few times, but I think that's indicative of my generation, not so much me, but at the same time, we have to understand when we shine the light on something, we don't shine the light on our own darkness in order to find ourselves guilty. We find we shine the we shine the light on our own darkness in order to accept that darkness and integrate it. And that is called shadow work. And that is when we can gather. Once we accept that we need to change and move, we gather and we move. And that's it. We accept, we identify, we shine the light on darkness, but we do not shine the light on darkness in order to judge our darkness. We shine the light on it in order to integrate it and move forward. I'm going to take a look at the bottom of the deck. And we have, I'm going to put these aside. Hopefully you can still see them. I'll move this a little bit. So on the bottom of the deck, we have the Page of Swords. This is someone who is, this is a new beginning, essentially. But it is bringing our dreams down to earth. This is the beginning of that. But what it ties so well into this introspective period, because the Page of Swords is someone who is this is also a spy, right? And it could be that even though you are, if you don't do the introspective work yourself, this Page of Swords will do it for you, because essentially the Page of Swords historically is also a spy. So it could be something coming to light about your empire, about the kings that you thought were working for you, right? The kings in the kingdoms that you oversee in your empire were, spied on you and brought something to light, or you spied on them and something came to light. But either way, and I look at that, however you want to apply that analogy in your life, fine. I don't want to assume for you, but if we think about maybe a manager or a director of an office learns that his um his managers beneath him have been doing untoward practices with the employees. Either he sent someone out to get that information, or, vice versa, they found out the director was doing something untowards and doing something very wrong. This place where the hermit is that shining that light on that darkness and figuring out how to integrate it and move forward, or how to change it up completely and move forward. Because here, this moving is where the change happens. Wow. Ooh, okay, so where are we on time? We're about 19 minutes in. I didn't realize I'd gone that long. I'm going to go ahead and put these down and see what guidance we can get for you for the week ahead. Which deck should I use? If we're moving forward, let's see. I really like the archetype cards because they give really specific guidance. But I also want to give you some love in this. So I am going to see if Rumi from my Rumi Oracle deck has some guidance for you. An invitation into the heart of the divine. Because we're looking at the Emperor here, and the Emperor I consider also as the divine masculine, or even a representation of that. So let's see if Rumi has something for us, some guidance for us. See how we can look inwardly with love and compassion so that we can move on. Okay, Spirit, do you have any guidance for us with this message? Oops, I had one fall off the top. Let's see. A new gown. All right, so I've got a new gown, and let's see if they have one more, because that one fell right off the top as I was shuffling. Let's see if they have one more for us. Spirit, do you have another card? No. Okay, so I'll go ahead and just use that card, a new gown. I see the new gown and I think of, from a Christianity aspect or standpoint, I think of the many-colored coat. Was it Jacob's many-colored coat? Yeah, and I think the story behind that was his brothers had sold him in slavery, and he was gifted a coat. Or somehow he got a coat of many colors, something like that. But his brothers sold him into slavery, and then he found his way back, and he was king somehow. I believe that was David. So this card is number 18 in the deck. Let's see what this is about. A new gown. So just fair warning, this is a little bit long, so I may skip places, but I will definitely try and post more information about the card. A new gown. Weary and consumed by longing, I was caressed by my beloved last night. My wounded soul was set free when I tasted the sweetness of love. My spirit was lifted at once. I surrendered my life while overflowing with joy, and my vision was filled with light. Love said, "Don't feel so hopeless, my weary and gloomy one, for my generosity is beyond forgetting those devoted to me. See how boundless divine justice can be. Behold my immeasurable kindness." Love embraced my spirit, and all my doubts vanished at once. A new and glorious robe of honor was placed on my shoulders. Love offered me the power of new vision and the transforming touch of divine generosity, and placed the chalice of eternal wine in my hand. Rumi. I have the perfect gift for you. And this part that I'm reading, I believe, is written by the author or interpreted by the author. I have the perfect gift for you. It is a gown of new colors, of colors perfectly suited to you and no other. The colors of this gown will make your eyes sparkle and gleam as though they were more beautiful than the most precious of gems. The colors of this new gown will make your skin seem luminous as if lit from within. For of course it is, beautiful angel. Your complexion is radiant with the light of life. Your hair will shine with luster, and your entire being will be complemented by this gown as it enhances your beauty in all ways. So hold on no longer to that shabby, tattered cloak so unworthy of you. Cast it off. Let me grace your shoulders now with this royal robe instead, that you may shine beautifully as befits a royal child of divine parentage. And